Hello dear Imperialist Front TV viewers, this is the weekly program for the week 20 until 27 of August. Revolutionary political prisoner Musa Aşoğlu has released. 7 years, arbitrarily and unlawfully imprisoned by German imperialism for years, the revolutionary from Turkey Musa Aşoğlu was released last week. During his 7-year imprisonment, Aşoğlu, who was subject to severe isolation and unlawfulness, was returned to the Netherlands against his will. The German state, which did not provide information about the form of his release, did not share information such as where and to which point at what time with anyone, including his lawyer. Musa Aşoğlu, who was arrested under 129 AB laws, was being held in the Hamburg prison. In the early hours of the morning, he was taken from the prison to Groningen in Netherlands. Half an hour after he was handed over to the Dutch police, he was released. Clear information about the where and about of Musa Aşoğlu was reached only after his release. Imperialism continues its operation and unlawful attacks against the revolutionaries all over the world. We will continue our struggle until all revolutionary prisoners are free. Visit to Greece from Zelensky. On the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the European Union Western Balkans Summit and the Thessaloniki Declaration, Ukrainian collaborator of imperialism, fascist Zelensky, arrived in Athens, the capital of Greece, to meet with the leaders of the Western Balkan countries, EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Union Council President Charles Michel. During the meeting, which turned into a NATO war summit, Zelensky also held bilateral talks with the Greek Prime Minister Mitsotakis. Mitsotakis noted that Greece is ready to take part in the reconstruction process of Ukraine. Zelensky said, "Greece joined the aviation coalition. I will train our pilot to fly F-16s." Greece is also preparing a new military aid package for Ukraine. As we see in this news, fascist leaders who deserve poverty and death for their own people are signing multi-billion dollar war agreements at the request of imperialism. In addition, the anti-imperialist front hanged the banner at the Polytechnic University in Greece in protest against Zelensky's visit to Athens. Resistance continues in Turkish prisons. The hunger strike resistance against the new type of prisons called SRY, which have been into operation in Turkey in recent months, continues. The hunger strike of Nedim Öztürk and Nurettin Kaya is in the 120 days. Prisoners are only allowed to ventilate for 1.5 hours a day. The rest of the time they are kept alone in their cells. There is nothing legal or humanitarian about this self-isolation practice. Isolation is a method of torture spread over time that disrupts human psychology and physical integrity. We have to wave international solidarity to stop this weapon of fascism in the attack on revolutionary thought. Özgül Emre, İhsan Cibelik and Serkan Küpeli continue to be on trial of imperialism and continued in the 11th hearing. The trial against revolutionary journalist Özgül Emre, Programm member İhsan Cibelik and the anti-fascist Serkan Küpeli continued in its 11th hearing. Özgül Emre entered the courtroom with the slogans, "Down with fascism, long live our struggle. We will win by resisting, and long live our unidentified hunger strike resistance." Those who were attending the hearing also said, "We will take you from there." A retired officer of the German Federal Police was brought to this hearing as a witness. According to the witness, the major offenses of the three revolutionaries were gathering, coming together, printing magazines for the youth, being in association, taking on the phone, demonstrating in front of the prisons for revolutionary prisoners Musa Aşoğlu and Erdal Gökoğlu. 129 AB Committee meets with the German Ministry of Justice. On 19 and 20 August, all federal institutions in Germany, including the Federal Ministry of Justice, held their traditional open-door event. The 129 AB Committee attending the event in order to meet with the Ministry of Justice, Marco Buschmann, took the stage and gave a speech. The second session was supposed to be a question and answer session, but the program was cancelled because they did not want committee's questions to be discussed in public. As a result of the insistence of the members of the committee, it was possible to take to the Ministry of Justice at the Stance area. During the meeting were the hunger strike in front of the ministry, and the demands were explained. Minister of Justice Bushman told the committee as follows: "We are currently analyzing and working on problematic articles of criminal law, and we intend to amend and, if it's necessary, abolish these laws. This includes the laws you mentioned. We will probably announce the result of this work in a few weeks, but I cannot give you information now." And he promised a new appointment in the following days. Political trial against the revolutionary Syriac activist Sam Grigor Baydar in Augsburg. Proceeding will be opened on September 5 in Augsburg District Court against the 32-year-old Syriac activist Sam Grigor Baydar. Sam Baydar has been under repression by Bavarian and German authorities for a year. His solidarity works for the Syriacs in Turkey and in Europe, as well as his advocate with the left-wing activists of the People's Front, artists as the group Hero, and the People's Lawyers in Turkey, some of whom also worked in Germany, closed, being prosecuted with the Turkish state government, have brought him numerous criminal proceedings. On January 18, the activists received a penalty order for the Augsburg public prosecutor officer for violation of prohibitions under Association Act with use of symbol of unconstitutional and terror organizations, and the fine of 10,000 euros divided into 180 daily rates. Sami Grigor Baydar will not bow in the innocent and repression. He will continue the fight against imperialism, fascism and capitalism, for independence, democracy and socialism. The Syriac People Council of Europe called all the active left-wing, progressive, democrat, anti-fascist and anti-imperialist people to show solidarity with the comrade Sami Grigor Baydar and join the court hearing in 5 of September. Fire in Greece. 18 refugees lost their lives in the forest area. As in all areas of life, capitalism caused damage and the climate and nature. Thousands of hectares of forest areas have burned down in many parts of Greece in recent days. The cause of the fires is the damage caused by capitalism to nature. The government, which was preparing to provide fighter jets to Ukraine, failed to intervene their fires. The worst of these fires was the one in which 18 refugees lost their lives in the forest, burned alive, where they were trapped. This fire in Alexandroupoli, in Evros region of Greece, is an area heavily used by refugees. Imperialism is responsible for these deaths and fires. Palestinian fighter and leader Maher al-Akras, ex-political prisoner, was detained again. Maher al-Akras was arrested by the occupation forces from Yizham in south of Jenin on the night 28 of August, and was arrested again and went to a hunger strike for the second time after his arrest. Maher al-Akras was released last February after 103 days of hunger strike. Israel continued to use loneliness as weapons to break the resistance of Palestinian people. Like every way that Israeli fascism has tried to so far, these attacks will come to naught with the resistance of the Palestinian people. We stand with the Palestinian people resisting Zionism and imperialism. Victory for Palestinians in Dutch court. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. On Tuesday, 15th of August, a Dutch court confirmed that the slogan "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free" falls under freedom of expression and is not punishable by law. The court's verdict represents a victory for the Palestinian movement in general and in Netherlands specifically. Expression for Palestinian liberation cannot be simply labeled as anti-Semitism and thereby criminalized or subjected to persecution. The charge was filed in June 2021 by a Zionist activist against some Netherlands member, Thomas Hopland. The Zionists claimed that Thomas' statement, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," during a speech he gave at the annual Nakba rally, was allegedly anti-Semitic. This false accusation is regularly used by Zionist organizations, media and politicians against Palestinian activists internationally in order to equate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism and silence discussion and advocacy for the Palestinian cause. Dear Anhörung Front TV viewers, this was our weekly program for this week. See you in the next program. Don't forget to follow us in our social media, in our Facebook, Twitter, Telegram channel, and also in our YouTube channel, because follow the voice of Anhörung from the wind means that you're following the voice of the people. Thank you very much. See you in the next program.